I think I'll change the name of my little talks to 3 minutes to enlightenment from 6 minutes. I think I've said the phrase, I don't know, about 1 billion times in the last, I don't know, roughly 3 years or so. And when the pandemic hit, it shut down my yoga studio, and it was just time to learn a host of new skills to take my whole business and put it online. And all of us faced these ridiculous, absurd, otherworldly challenges when the pandemic hit. And some people responded, many people responded brilliantly to the challenge, and came up with a lot of new ways of doing things, a lot of innovation, a lot of invention, a lot of intelligence came to the fore for a lot of people. And a lot of people didn't thrive from the experience. But be that as it may, uh, I just, I was sort of thrown into a tumble, as so many of us were. But I also took it on as a challenge of, like, just turning my life around from the inside out and changing and upgrading as much as I possibly could. It was a gigantic wake up call for me. And so I've had this tremendous interest and curiosity in learning and innovating and creating and just upgrading myself, updating myself in as many ways as I can, with a ton of different projects. Maybe you can relate. But what I found myself saying 1 billion times at least, not that I'm exaggerating. By the way, I've been going to Exaggerators Anonymous meetings. I'm going to go to 1,000 meetings in 90 days. Recovery humor. But anyway, I say I don't know a lot. I'm just always like, oh, I buy a drum kit. How do you put it together? I don't know. I think I'll start putting my classes on Zoom. How do you do that? I don't know. And then just increase that ad infinitum. But what it feels like, Einstein said something very interesting. He said, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. And that is pretty profound for a brain of that magnitude to say. And so with my little pea-sized brain, it's obviously true for me. But it's very interesting when you think about your own knowledge base, your own skill, your own understanding, what it is that you know. It's like, if it's growing, it's always interfacing a larger contact with what we don't know. The more we know, the more we're interfacing with what we don't know. And that brings up today's quick phrase before my voice runs out. And that is, this sounds shamelessly religious, and I have no problem with it, but I have one spiritual teacher that I love so much, and he says, one touch of God's favor, one touch. Now, it's so analogous to what the great yoga sage Paramahansa Yogananda said. He said, one drop of God's love. It's two ways of saying exactly the same thing. When we are ripe and ready, when we are fresh, when we are curious, when we're interested, when we live in a high state of anticipation, when our faith is stirred, when we're alive and in a deep sense and a deep faith that the best is yet to be, one touch, one change, one idea, one connection, one collaboration can change everything for any of us overnight. And I really do live in that place. And, maybe it's one big thing, it's one connection, it's one idea, but it might be just today's idea, and then today's idea, and then today's idea. And you follow that, and you pull on that, and then you study that, and you get confused by it, and you get frustrated. And you say, I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know. But if we keep saying, I don't know, and we're honestly living in that place, we're going to learn so fast, and we're going to get so many touches of favor in this crazy year that's upcoming, this crazy turmoil year, that no matter what comes down the pike at us, we will respond with the highest of ourselves, and we will come out being more enlightened, more illumined, more joyful, and more of our true selves than ever. And I truly believe that. So one touch of God's favor, one drop of God's love. Be on the lookout for yours today and live in that high state of anticipation. If you find yourself saying, I don't know, you will soon. All right. Thanks for listening to the croaking.